So in this video, I want to walk you through how we sign 100% of our clients from start to finish, how we go about booking the actual sales call, how we go about actually doing our outreach, how we go about actually selling the prospects on the sales call, and then how we go about onboarding them. So from start to finish, how we go about signing 100% of our clients. Now, just before we do jump straight into it, if you do enjoy this video, please just go ahead, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. And with that being said, let's just dive straight in. So I don't do email outreach anymore. I want to make that very, very clear from the get-go. Reason being is because really the main goal with your agency should be to run ads to get clients, not to continue to do emails. Why we want to do emails when we're starting out? You may be asking yourself, well, Kai, I see you do a bunch of outbound client attraction methods on your YouTube and whatnot. Why do you go through that if the main goal is to run ads for your agency? Well, it's very, very hard to run ads for your agency prior to having a proof of concept with your agency. And what I mean by proof of concept is simply signing clients and delivering results for those clients. That's what a proof of concept is. Delivering profitable, good results for those clients and, building a high retention rate in amongst your client roster. Once you've done that, that is a proof of concept. Once you've got the proof of concept, you can then start running ads. How do you build the proof of concept? Outbound, sending emails, doing your social outreach, etc., etc. Now, we're kind of past that stage, right? We've built a proof of concept. And so obviously what you're seeing on the screen here is something that we go tremendously in depth inside of Centaurian Agency, because this is kind of the higher level stuff. This is what you want to get to, right? This is the goal with your agency. And as you can see here, I've got the date range 10th of May, 2021 to the 14th of July 2021. Why have I got this date range set up? Well, because that is when we launched this new iteration of ads. Maybe also asking yourself, you've stopped running ads on July 14th, today is August 12th, why are you not continuing running ads? Well, it's because the ads performed that well that we actually couldn't keep up with the numbers that we were getting. So you can see here, we got 206 website schedules, and I'll show you the exact funnel here in a minute. I'll show you exactly how we were getting these prospects to book in the call using ads. But you can just see from a numbers perspective, 206 website schedules for $42 per booked call. That is unbelievable, right? You ask any agency owner out there what their booked call rates are from a volume perspective as well as a cost perspective, and they would, most of the time they're going to say it's above $100 per book call. So these results are absolutely insane, and as I say, I'm going to explain why they were so good here in a moment. But really, that's why we have stopped running ads for the time being, because we got so bogged down with service delivery that we couldn't keep running the ads and maintain signing clients at the rate that we were if we was to ensure that we was to maintain a healthy service delivery for our clients and ensure that we're delivering results. And so because we stopped at around 8.7 thousand in spend. And so basically this funnel right here is running at around a 11x. We pulled in around $100,000 just from clients that have come through this funnel right here. So this, as I say, is running at around 11x, which is crazy numbers, right? So how do we sign 100% of our clients? Well, the first step is we run ads to attract and pique the curiosity of our ideal prospect. And as you can see here, this ad here, variation T8, you can see it just routinely outperformed, okay? 55 website schedules for $37 per book call, right? 49 website schedules for $35 per book call. It just routinely crushed it. So if I pull this ad up here, you can actually see kind of how we go about at least the first touch points with our prospects. We figure out where they congregate on the Facebook platform, specifically in this case, and we put a message in front of them that does a few things. Number one, ideally, we want to pre-qualify, and we do that by virtue of the first few lines as well as the headline on the video. So on the video, you can see we say iOS 14 has ruined Facebook ads for e-commerce. This specifically calls out who we're speaking to, right? iOS 14, first of all, narrows a million size audience down to, maybe 100,000, because not everybody knows what iOS 14 is, and not everybody's going to react. Maybe people know what iOS, is because they have an iPhone, but not everybody's going to react in the same way to iOS 14. However, when our ideal client, which is an e-commerce founder, sees the word iOS 14, that's going to pique their curiosity and they're going to react to it because they're in the space and they know about the idea of iOS 14. And we say ruined, and then we go ahead and say FB ads. Only certain types of people know what FB ads stands for. Obviously, we know that it's Facebook ads. The reason we know that it's Facebook ads is because we're in the industry. Again, our creative here is doing a lot of our targeting. And then obviously we literally say for e-commerce. So then that further specifies exactly who we're trying to go after, okay? And we also do a similar idea in the copy here. And so what we do in the body of the copy as well as the video itself is we do a few things, but the biggest thing that we do is we sell the click. That's the overarching goal of this ad right here. right? And we sell the click by virtue of jacking up the prospect's intrigue and curiosity around what it is that we have to offer. And when somebody's intrigue is at an all-time high, when they're super, super curious, they want to know more about what you're doing, about what you're offering, about whatever it is that you're trying to advertise, guess what they're going to do? They're going to click the ad. And that is the main goal of the ad. I see it far too many times. People run ads and try and sell the end stage of the funnel, when really they should only be selling the next step in the funnel, not the end stage. Most of the time, the end stage of a funnel is the purchase, right? I see it a lot of times in e-commerce. I see it a lot of times with info products, all that good stuff. You know, people, a really good example of this is like people wouldn't focus on selling the free training for an info product. They would focus on selling the actual product within the free training. But the only way that the conversion rates are going to be super high on the product is if you sell the next stage in the funnel. So ad sells the free training sells the product, which is the next step in the funnel, right? So that's really the main goal with this ad. Now, what is the next step in the funnel? Well, the next step in the funnel is this landing page right here, this sales page right here. Now, it's a long sales page from a written perspective, but it's also got a VSL embedded. Now, the VSL isn't too long. The VSL is only 15 minutes. What I want to show you here is a diagram, because this is really going to illustrate my point very, very well. Let's say, for example, over on the left-hand side here, you've got your ideal prospect. Okay, now you guys know I cannot draw for the life of me, so I apologize for that, right? So you got your ideal prospect over the right-hand side, and this is them in their current state, right? So this is them when they see what, and this applies even if you're not running ads, you know, you're sending outbound emails, you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. This applies to any approach to signing clients. When you reach out to a client, they're gonna be in a current state, which is them over on the left-hand side here, and what you want them to be, right, most of the time, especially if you're running an agency, is you want them to become a qualified book call, which is kind of this state 2 here, okay? So technically we can call this state 2, right, S2, and we call this state 1. So state 1 is what they're currently in, the current state of the prospect prior to you reaching out, and state 2 is where you want to get them. State 2 is basically a qualified book call. Now, you can see here by virtue of this amazingly drawn diagram that there's a gap in between. Okay, and most people know about this idea of a gap, right? There's a gap and you've got to bridge the gap, all that good stuff, right? But I want to explain this in a way that applies to signing clients, because far too many times I see that people try and take this person over here who's in a current state, state 1, and they try and teleport them into state 2. They try and push them into state 2. They try and manifest that this person is going to become state 2, is going to magically become a booked call. And that is most of the time the reason why they can never get booked calls. What you ought to do is sell the next step, because the only way that this prospect here is going to become a qualified book call is not by jumping, right? Is not by teleporting, is not by flying, I don't know, any other way. There's only one way that they're gonna get from this stage to this stage, and that is by taking steps across the bridge, and that's how they're gonna get to the end. There's no other way, right? Just look at it as a real life situation. If you're standing at one side of a bridge and you wanna get to the other side, the only way for you to do it is to walk there. Bar cars and whatnot, okay? The only way to get there is to walk. You can't fly, you can't jump, you can't do anything else other than walk. It's the same idea here. And so the only way for them to walk across the bridge is to take one step in front of the other, right? It's very, very simple. And so if they're here and you're trying to sell this last step, guess what? They're not gonna be able to make it, because they've got a bunch more steps in front that they need to take before they can take the last step. So when it comes to your funnel, let's have a look at this, right? This is the first stage in the funnel. The funnel starts at the point in which the prospect sees your ad, or sees your email, or sees your message on social media, or whatever it is, however you're reaching out to your prospects, right? The first step in the process is that initial contact. Okay, and so within that initial contact, the only goal should be the next step of the funnel. Now, with my ads, and again, this is an idea we go through in a lot deeper detail. For example, how we create the VSLs, how we build high converting VSLs. Like this VSL here converts around a 4.5%, which is why my ads, you know, we run good ads for sure, but the biggest reason why, you know, my ads have, as I say, around a 10 to 11x ROI right now, this funnel has around a 10 to 11x ROI, is because of this VSL, and is because of the sales page and the conversion mechanism, okay? But this is the next step in the funnel. And so if your ad does the right job, well, that is going to get the prospect to take the first step. And then from there, if this funnel does a good job, which as I say, this funnel for us right now converts around a 4.5%, and we see similar conversion rates amongst our customers as well inside of Centurion. So it's a framework that's kind of just proven, you know? But then the goal of this funnel here is not to sell the service, is not to sell them coming on for a 3-month minimum, is not to sell them coming on for a 5K a month retainer. The goal of this funnel is to get them to click this button right here, okay? And from there, they go to this page right here, which is a booked call page. And this, as I said before, this VSL page does a very good job at that. So guess what? Sales the next step. Cool. Now the prospect's a little bit closer. And so then from there, they book in a call, right? They will select a time that works best for them, and they will book in a call by answering a bunch of required questions, as you can see right here, right? We have a bunch of questions that we ask the prospects before they book in a call with us, simply because we, get a high volume of book calls. You can see here we had 200 calls booked in over a 2-month period, 3-month period, and we only spent 8.7 thousand, which is not a lot whatsoever, right? And it's $42 per book call. Bear in mind these numbers here as well, by the way, are all in Australian because I'm currently based in Australia. So in US, it's even lower than this, right? However, the next step in the funnel, as I say, is to book in a call. And then what we do on the first call is we actually have a demo call. So you'll see here, if we actually go back on this Calendly event here, you'll see that this initial call that they book in is actually only 15 minutes. And we don't say that it's a 15-minute call, but then we try and extend it to a 45-minute call. It is literally just a 15-minute call. And this couples as our demo call. And on the demo call, this is where we really dig deep into the specifics of the business that they run, right? For us, as I say, we work in the e-com industry. So, really important questions that we ask our ideal prospects or our potential clients is, profit margins, website conversion rate, current advertising results and the metrics within that, what their proof of concept looks like, what their organic sales look like, which kind of ties back into the proof of concept. Why somebody would buy that specific prospect's product over that prospect's biggest competitor. Why would they buy over them, right? Why would they buy from them over the competitor, right? USPs, all this good stuff, right? That's what we dig deep into on this initial 15-minute call. Okay, cool. Now, the goal of this 15-minute call, again, isn't to sell the prospect on the last step here. The goal on the 15-minute call is to sell the prospect on wanting to book in a sales call, which is the next stage of the funnel, at least for us, right? And it's on the sales call that we then sell the last step, right? We then sell them on becoming a client. Up until this point, we have not pitched anything. We've just focused on the next step, the next step, the next step, the next step. Because if we are at the first step and we focus on the last point, they physically cannot move forward. They physically cannot cross this bridge from state 1 to the ideal state 2. It's impossible. So the only way that they'll be able to, as I say, go from state 1 to state 2 is by taking the next step in the process. And so when you look at your funnel, you need to be able to implement this idea throughout your outbound funnel, but throughout your client acquisition funnel. Because if you don't, and you're trying to sell your service in the actual ad itself, right? So again, if we come back to here, this is the first step in the funnel. If you're trying to sell your end service in this ad itself, you're gonna miss an entire section which needs to occur in order for clients to get passed through at scale profitably. And if you miss that section, you're not gonna get any results. And because you're not gonna get any results, you're gonna stop running ads and you're not gonna scale your agency. It's as simple as that. And so that is how we sign 100% of our clients. There's really not too much more to it. There really isn't. Yes, you've got how we write copy. Yes, you've got how we construct our video ads. Yes, you've got how we construct our VSLs. Yes, you've got how we construct our, the written sales page as well, that the video sales letter is embedded on. Yes, you've got all these things. And as I say, these are ideas that we dig tremendously deep into inside of Centurion, because this is how we're able to get a 4.5% conversion rate on this sales page. But fundamentally, what we've just gone through, this idea here, is what all of these things make up. This is the underlying idea. And if this isn't in place, it doesn't matter how good your sales page is if nobody's seeing it. If you're trying to sell the end goal by virtue of your ad, nobody's gonna see your sales page, because guess what? Nobody's gonna click the ad, because you're not piquing that curiosity. You're not, building that intrigue. You're just trying to sell the end product. You're trying to sell the end thing. And that's not gonna pique the curiosity. That's not gonna pique any sort of intrigue. Nobody's gonna click the ad because they just don't care, okay? So I hope this video changes your perspective on how to go about attracting clients. It really is one of the main things that we've implemented into our client acquisition process that's just fundamentally changed our client acquisition rate, volume, etc. It's worked so well that we've actually had to stop running ads for the past month or so, just so we can focus on back-end operations. We are now kind of going back into the process of creating new ads and whatnot to go back to market with. And when we do go back to market, we'll be implementing this exact same funnel. We'll be implementing this exact same idea into the funnel of the next step, focusing on the next step of the funnel. Because at the end of the day, if each step does its job of getting the prospect to do the next thing in the funnel, to do the next step, it's physically impossible for them to not eventually end up at the desired end result, right? At the desired end state, whatever that is, whether that be a qualified book call, or you could even take a step back and look at the agency client acquisition funnel as a whole from very beginning to the very, very end of onboarding the client, and look at even the qualified book call just being the next step to selling the client. So if you just look at that funnel entirely and just look at each aspect of the funnel having one goal, which is to get the prospect to the next step, it's inevitable that they're going to end up at the very last step, which is to become a client. That's it. It's as simple as that. And so as always, I deeply hope you found value in this video. If you have any specific videos that you would like to see, make sure you go ahead, comment them down below. I read all the comments. So if you want to see a certain type of video, let me know and I will be sure to create it for you. As always, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment the word sales call down below to let me know that you've actually watched this video from start to end, because it really is only you guys that watch the videos from the start to the very end that are actually going to benefit most from this content. So comment the word sales call or the words sales call in the comment section below to let me know that you've watched the video to the end. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.